early April is when they'll be starting on that. I talked to the contractor, the general contractor is out of Elko, and told me the issues that we had at the Bristlecone apartments with them trying to do the stucco work. I think it was in late December, early January, and he's aware of that. So
being out of Elko, they should be well aware of it.
Right, yeah. So we got that stuff's going on, and then the dialysis center right now tentatively we have the fire marshal coming in on Tuesday. I believe that I haven't talked to the health inspector. I believe she's also going to be there on Tuesday. Hopefully we can issue the certificate of occupancy on that same day. So
that'll be a major plus for the community.
yeah, we kind of had a setback there. This was supposed to happen last week, and there was some issues that the general contractor felt that there was too many things they needed to take care of. We kind of just did a soft walkthrough, and there were some issues, and so and I believe they still have to get their all their equipment stuff that has to be in place. And I'm going to go over there since this meeting's over to tell them that it has to be in place. It doesn't have to be functioning, but it has to be in place when the fire marshal and the health department show up. Otherwise, it's just a building, and it has so we'll make sure we get that done, because I feel that if they don't get this done by Tuesday, and the fire marshal does show up, as well as the state health department, it may take them a month to get back here. So I want to make sure that they've got all that stuff done.
Sometimes it takes longer.
What's the latest you anticipate it will be put in service?
It's my understanding that all the equipment right now is sitting at the hospital. It's in the hallways at the hospital.
So it's just a matter of building.
It's just a matter of actually getting it inside the building. The building itself is ready. The building is ready. I was over there last week. There was just a couple little things that they're missing. Nothing that's going to prevent it from opening. One was they have two different types of bedpan washers. One is in a basin. The other one is actually you hold it and you hit a foot pedal into it. They stand right next to each other. This is not something that's going to keep them from opening this up. One's functioning, that's all they need. So these plans are very generic. They build these all over the country. So if one has it, they all have it. So I foresee if they get everything together, I foresee this thing Tuesday. We should be able to.
Tremendous benefit to people in the community that require that service.
I've talked to countless people that have family that are living out of town, and would like to see their loved ones come back here, so that just
We need an increase in population.
yeah. That's about all I have right now.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to make a little bit of a report here, more or less on the constant complaint that we have from Mr. Chachis concerning Campton Street. Having reviewed it, I'm trying to find out what was going on to see if I can solve this particular situation. And at the time, what I've run across is the fact that the street of Campton, where it's at, about the complaint on the street at Great Basin Highway and whatnot, that is the width of that street is correct, where it's at 30 feet. It's been grandfathered in right from the very beginning, and when it was surveyed in order to put the curb and gutter in for the Copper Queen, that was initially the survey for their property was paid by the property owners in that respect. The curb and gutter at that time was placed in there by the Copper Queen for the convenience of the city. Not necessarily the city should be putting in curb and gutter, but they went ahead and did it. There is nothing wrong with the situation. It was approved by the state highway and accepted. So I wish at this time to make a request that we do not hear about this situation again. Another thing with always constantly saying is that we're more or less derelict in our duties. We are volunteers, we are unpaid, And so therefore, we can't follow up on everything. We try our best to do what we possibly can do. And if this continues, I'm going to make a recommendation to the city council to raise all business licenses to $100 a month in order to pay a salary for us to be paid so that we can look into every little complaint and whatnot that's being done, so that we are no longer derelict in our duties. Other than that, our cleanup campaign will be resuming again around the 1st of May. We hope if the weather permits. That has been very complimentary. I've had very good feedback from people, and they're looking forward to it. And I've had people say, when are you going to come back to, I missed the first one, when are you going to come back onto our street? Well, I'm sorry, we're going to have to wait until we do all the other streets first, and then we'll start at the top of the line again. But it's being very favorably accepted. We really want, a lot of people are willing to come out and help on that particular day so that we can get our community cleaned up even more so. And also very complimentary with a couple of boards that I've attended, like with the economic development and whatnot. Very enthusiastic about doing something about generally making the community look far better with our landscaping ideas and proposals and whatnot. And they're all hoping that when and if we put our plans together to propose to the city council, some of them would like to be at that meeting to encourage the city council on adopting the new resolutions. And I think that's a real positive effect with the people of our community, if they're willing to start looking at their community, because I think they're tired of looking at it also. And they're very much in favor of doing the best they can for it. And that's about all I've got to report this time. Okay, then we'll go to item number 6 or 7. We'll go to item number 6, agenda items for the next regularly scheduled planning commission. I see we've got a couple of them in our packets right now, Brad. You want to say anything on? You've got a couple of partial math applications and whatnot. We'll just wait until the next meeting for those.
Yeah, I'd rather wait for those.
Okay, all right. Is there anything you want to bring up, put on the agenda, any member for the agenda?
Well, we might make some general discussions about the master plan, just to put that in our reports.
Okay, for the next agenda. All right. You all have a copy you've got and what she's done. Would you please take a good look at it so we can make recommendations to the city council of what really applies to us and what we should do and what may not be effective for the city of Ely that they have in the master plan, to delete it and let's have some do whatever you think. That way the council will have something to work with also. Okay? All right. We'll go to item number 7, public comment. Is there any comment from the public?
There is.
Mr. Chairman, this is a new month. I'd like to know if we've got an updated list of home occupation special use permits. Again, I want to know if Mr. Jim Allworth and his business got water is on the list. He has yet to show up on the county list. I go to the county, they tell me to come back here. I've given you pictures of his vehicle at his home. I've given you advertisements. The list is home number. You're making other people buy permits, come before you and seek permission, and yet you knowingly are looking the other way, and that needs to stop.
Once we get the authority to be a law enforcement officer, officials here, maybe perhaps we can take care of that situation for you. But since we can't do anything other than make a formal requirement to it, or to whomever you're saying, and they don't comply, unless it's actually, Mr. Shears can probably answer that even better than I.
That's just a lame excuse, Mr. Plangus. I've seen you go after people when there was the Regional Planning Commission, based on a so-called phone call. You went after some young lady down in Lund for taking pictures, family or wedding pictures. I asked specifically, What prompted the,
And what was
the
that
call?
occasion, Mr. Churches?
When you were on the planning commission, the regional planning commission, and now you're
That was the
making
regional
excuses.
planning commission. That had
I
nothing
know
to do
that,
with
sir.
the city of Ely.
You're making up excuses. I'm just saying, in viewing how you folks have operated in the past, you're talking out both sides of your mouth, and that needs to stop. Mr. Chairman, have you made any arrangements to bring the school district's improvements of the Den School to come into compliance with Ely City Code? The widths of the sidewalks presently are too narrow. They're 3 and 4 foot wide.
That
and
question has
5
been
foot wide.
answered to you before.
The city code, you've got code there. The city put in a 5-foot sidewalk along Winter Road in order to comply with so-called ADA standards, which the street supervisor and the engineer said was needed. Now I want to know, why would you put 5-foot sidewalk there? And you don't want to put it where children are involved? That's selectively enforcing the law.
I believe that question, or that particular situation's been answered before, but we'll go
It
one
has
more
not.
time, Brad.
It has
Go ahead.
not been properly addressed.
As I stated before, when we were going over this, the Family Dollar store, the city does not have any sidewalk ordinances other than as they pertain to subdivisions. So, in saying that the state, the city regulations say that they're 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet, that's not true. So therefore, when you do not have an ordinance in place on the city, county level, then what you do is you refer back to the national level, which is the ADA. ADA is 36 inches
Minimum.
minimum.
The city can tighten it up, and they
City
can
can
set
tighten it
their
up,
own
but
standards when they have.
but we're not talking about tightening them up. What we're doing is you're saying that they didn't comply. They did comply.
Not with city code.
They,
Not with city code.
What is the city code?
4 foot wide
Where did you find that?
in the city.
I would
Only in
like,
subdivision.
No,
I
you know
would
what?
like
There
to
was
know.
never a problem with that until this gentleman came along, and all of a sudden now we got a new interpretation. This community has been here for a long, long time, and now you're making it difficult because this gentleman doesn't wish to look at what has happened in the past. Mr. Chairman, the Copper Queen, they interrupted me now. If you'll be so kind to give me another 30 seconds.
All allowed, because these discussions are going to come to a complete termination
How
shortly.
much time, Chairman?
Okay,
How much time?
2 more minutes.
2 more minutes?
I don't think I'll need that, but that's fine. On the case of the Copper Queen, the surveying took place by Mr. Dean Day, who was not a qualified surveyor. It did not come before the city council. It was not approved. You've got drainage coming off the property onto a public sidewalk. You don't have to be blind to see that. You're negligent in your duties.
I won't be negligent this long.
I'm just telling you, those that can't do the job have got to go. Mr. Flanagan, you've got to go. You're setting up all these new standards and so-called beautification things, and yet you're looking the other way on the basics. Don't expect the rest of us to fall in line when you're looking the other way on other issues. You want to do something, then you need to
Can I ask
move
a
away.
question of Brad on that issue? Who else besides George Chachas has complained about that?
about
The Copper Queen issue?
nobody.
Thank you.
I've got property in that area, and when you narrow anything down, you have to properly notify the surrounding community. Didn't happen. My brothers have property up there. They were never notified. Now, if it doesn't matter, fine. But no one in this community should be paying fees for any kind of variance if you're not going to enforce it for everyone. It goes back to selective enforcement, and that falls on your shoulders.
Could you
Gotta
tell me
stop that.
exactly where the property line for the Copper Queen is at?
All you got to do is go and get the map.
Will you tell me exactly where it's at?
I'm not a surveyor. I don't know.
The answer is no.
No. You measure from curb to
I
curb,
told
Mr.
you
Blangus.
that I surveyed it, and that street is a
You're not a
40-foot
surveyor, Mr.
wide
Blangus.
street. I surveyed the information. I didn't say surveyed. I looked at the information, went to get the information. That street is a 40-foot wide street.
I want that information because the information.
Go look it up yourself. I'm
I
not going to
have.
give it to you.
I have. That's the only reason I'm bringing this issue before you. I don't want to hear your excuses.
That's not an excuse.
Do your
That's
job
fact.
or leave. One of the two.
Okay, you have something?
Oh, yeah, and George, the reason we can't investigate some of these things thoroughly is if we go onto people's property or even ask them a question without the proper introduction, we can be arrested.
I didn't ask you to go on their property, and I didn't ask you to interrogate them.
I mean, in the
You
past,
can